Hi, and welcome to this week's reading. I'm an Even Weirder Owl, an Even Weirder Oracle, and I got a bunch of new decks this weekend and then also pulled some that were kind of in storage. So I'm going to intuitively pull some things and we'll see what happens. I will do 3 separate readings, and after each reading, I'll pull kind of a relevant card. So I guess in theory, you've already seen the piles. Timestamps are in the description. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Let's get going. Okay, pile 1. So I've gotten a few new decks over the weekend. I'm just going to kind of intuitively pull from them. And then I also have ones that I just have never pulled out for this before. So let's start with this one. What's the theme of the reading? And since they're new, I'm going to give them a really good shuffle so that we don't end up with a bunch of consecutive numbers. All right, what's the message for pile number 1? Maybe. To start out, love your body. Oh, I probably need to put something over that, huh? That way I don't get in trouble. Okay, so 21, love your body. This could be about connecting with your body. It could be about being in it. Let's see what else we got here. This is a deck I picked up in Salem, Massachusetts a few years ago. I think it's maybe made its way in here a couple times. We have unspoken, unsummoned, invert fear. Got quite a few. From ash. Disquiet the myth. Eternal. This is about your connection with your body. You know, our body can act as a barometer, and it almost feels like there was a time, wow, this is really uneven. There was a time when you were maybe afraid of the barometer that your body served as. Your body was able to pick up on things that were happening, pick up on things that existed, truths that existed. Something happened that made you kind of afraid of your capability and the capability of your body. Let's find more. Move into flow. A little. Move into flow. You know, when we're nervous or anxious about what our body can tell us or show us, we can become quite disconnected from it. I'm guilty of that. It's a lot easier to avoid the things happening, the truths our emotions are telling us, the truths that our intuition and our body are telling us. It's easier to stay complacent when we do that. I think you've been working on coming out of that pattern, out of that kind of thought process. You've changed the way that you think about it. And so now you get to flow with your body a little bit more. But it's almost like you're still kind of building a shared language with it. You don't quite know. That's apparently important. And I just hit the mic when I said that. Sorry. There's definitely a vibe of kind of being a Bambi here, getting your sea legs when it comes to your body. We have basil with abundance. Yeah. There's this, I see this as like a very positive transition We have Rue with safeguard and Hyssop with cleansing. Oh, badger guy. There might be a lack of a feeling of safety here as this transition is happening. And your guides are kind of coming in to say, hey, this is a very positive experience. It's a very safe experience, and it's ultimately cleansing you in a bigger way. And you can also, take some steps to cleanse yourself. You have years and years of myth, of energy, of fear that exists in your body because of the experiences that you had, which is normal. But you have the opportunity to kind of pivot right now. This is as much a physical experience as it is a spiritual one. By connecting with your body, you can connect with something deeper. And the deeper you go, the higher you go. We have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, you've entered a new way of thinking about this. You've entered a new way of processing your relationship with your body and therefore your relationship with the universe. Our bodies often know things before we do. No more from that one. Okay. This is helping you move into deeper self-love and acceptance. And you might have a tendency to kind of think that you know everything that's happening here, but this is, it's a little bigger. So be curious, kind of walk with this childlike wonder, this joy, this excitement. This could also point out that this might be an issue that stemmed from when you were a teenager. You're kind of resistant to being very rooted in yourself. There's something about relying on your body over relying on logic that makes you feel a little out of control, which is just asking you to root yourself deeper into the present moment, into what is. And what is right now is a very loud car that I'm hoping the mic protected you from having to hear. I think you're aware of the way that your previous relationship with your body existed, that it's actually not serving you anymore. And so you know that it's time for something new. You can trust yourself and trust what your body is telling you. This is a pretty big level up. This is a new way of thinking, a new way of believing, which means it's a new way of being. When previously you were disconnected from your body enough that you were kind of burning yourself out because you were overextending yourself because you were disconnected. And because you were disconnected, you couldn't actually tell how you felt about things, which meant that you were giving inauthentic answers and then resenting yourself and other people afterward. There's something here about being able to live more authentically because you live more within yourself. You are your home and you feel at home there in a way that you haven't before. Maybe you have more autonomy than you've ever had. There's some kind of major difference happening here. But you're a sweet baby angel. You got this. I feel like you are entering a new era of connection with yourself, and it's so fucking cool. I'm so proud of you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought, how this landed for you. What did you learn? Where are you? And I hope to see you next week. Bye. Hi, to pile number 2. Let's go ahead and pull the first card to find out. I think there's 2. We'll pull 2 cards to find out what the vibe is of your reading. First up, we have practice positivity, followed by Reverse dissociation. Oh, so this is a new deck, and I'm so curious about what they mean by reverse dissociation. So I'm gonna look that up real quick, because usually I just kind of use the words, but I'm just very curious. Give yourself permission to feel. It can be easy to dissociate from your feelings when the challenges of life become too overwhelming. This can occur when we hold on to suppressed, unacknowledged, painful, or traumatic experiences and allow ourselves to be bombarded by the noises of the outside world, from watching too much TV, to listening to loud music, to engaging with social media. When we constantly run from one sensation to another, our nerves become numbed and we begin to feel empty inside. In order to recover your sensitivity and aliveness, you need to slow down, connect to your body, and give yourself permission to feel. You have to realize that as a spiritual being, you need to spend as much time nourishing your soul as you do feeding your physical body. Your spirit is beckoning you to go within, let go of past pain, and transform it into enriching wisdom. Wow. Okay. I feel a little called out by that because I spent all day Sunday and half the day yesterday playing Slay the Spire and watching Avatar, so cool. Okay. Bringing it back to the reading. I'm going to put this first because it just feels very important. There's something here about having a positive attitude about engaging with your spirituality as opposed to dissociation. So like, this is interesting because I did a reading yesterday that kind of aligns with this, which is this idea of those moments when you want to numb yourself, turning to spirit instead. And thinking of that as a positive thing, a positive interaction, instead of thinking of it as a task, as something you have to do. We have vitality and happiness. Oh, there we go. I love this. This feels like maybe you've been feeling a little disconnected, a little out of sorts. This is going to be what brings you back in, is making sure to spend time engaging with spirit. Wow, that was a lot of cards. Sacrifice. Yeah, it might feel like a sacrifice from the way that you like to do things normally. God, this could be a reading for me. And you know what? It probably is. They usually are. Consecration. Yeah, see this as a blessed experience. Tranquility, we're finding peace, we're finding brightness, and we're having the beginnings of transformation. Wow. You might be avoiding connecting spiritually. Maybe there's something you don't want to hear or don't want to acknowledge, but there's something here, and it's the beginning of something new and beautiful for you. We have both the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands reversed. Wow. You're kind of rejecting a new beginning right now, huh? Oh God. Okay, again, I could be saying this to myself. I feel a little called out in this moment. Focus and release. I see this as like floodgates opening. It's not going to take much for this transformation to happen. It's like it's just sitting there waiting for you to open the door. You just have to choose to walk through it. God, this reading is very in our face today, huh? Purify your attention. Attract your life. We got some sequential numbers here. Focus your mind. Discover your answer within. Bow to the miraculous. And lift your chemistry. They don't leave much open to interpretation here on this one, do they? You have to be the one to make the decision to pivot your life this way, even though everything is set you up to do it. At the end of it, the only kind of, moving human circumstance here is will. Do you have the will, the discipline of will, to take what you're being handed right now? I've been avoiding it, I think. So maybe we have that in common. Sometimes they're like too spot on in a way that's like, okay, yeah, I get it. We're trying to fill the void externally. There's this emptiness, this numbness inside of us. And I'm saying we because this is just as much for me as it is for you. We're trying to find something outside of ourselves that's going to feed and nourish this gap that can only be filled by us in spirit. By finding balance and aligning our inner and outer worlds. Instead of trying to force, control, or ignore. When this card, Metatron, is upright, I see it as our guides coming in to give us a message. So in reverse, it's that we're avoiding it or ignoring it. It's time for this release, this rebirth, this renewal, this transformation, this new beginning. But you have to decide. You have to decide to take it. All right, I'll make a deal with you. If you do it, I'll do it. Okay. I don't think I need to go any further. I think we know our assignment. I hope to see you next week. Leave a comment and let me know if you're on this journey with me, because I would really love to know I'm not alone on it. See you soon. Pile number 3, hello. Let's go ahead and pull a card to find out what the theme of this reading is. It's quick. Experience rebirth. Okay. Experience rebirth. Sorry about that. Let's see what we got here. The last one was about accepting the rebirth we're being given. And more so not accepting it. I wonder if these are connected. Let's find out. Maybe. Shadow work around communication. Okay. There's something about the way you're communicating with yourself or with spirit or something. There's something here. I want more from this deck. Shadow work is the pathway to this rebirth. And maybe it's just communicating with yourself. Blessing. Okay, so the work you're being given here to do is a blessing, even if maybe it doesn't necessarily feel like it. Ameliorate. I don't know what that word means. I'm going to have to look that up. Endure. And invert fear. Pull that over here, but I'm going to look at the meaning of that one real quick because that's not a word I'm familiar with, which says a lot because I grew up with a grandmother who was obsessed with, I don't know the word obsessed, was very interested in vocabulary and taught me a lot. So when I see words I don't know, it's kind of surprising. Of course, this book, for some reason, it has no like distinctive order. Like it's not alphabetical. It's not sorted in any way. So I just kind of have to look for it. Thank you for your patience. Maybe it was like the first one. There it is. Feverfew is ameliorate, a healing card for when spirit-filling rations are low and pain overwhelms through attrition. The Pythia will, at times, request you wallow, but not now. Feverfew reminds us that meager moments brim with creative magic. Keep the sprigs for color and burn your switches for warmth. Let remedies billow up around you. Okay. Now is not the time to wallow. It's the time to work through it, to endure, and to take the parts that we're afraid to look at through shadow work and to turn that into this endurance, this strength, this experience of will. To begin, stop. Within law, become free. I love do no harm but take no shit. I think that's like the same thing, right? Shoot for the stars. And move towards spirit. Okay. This time might feel really, really hard right now. And I'm really sorry about that. The thing stopped working again. I just want to make sure that we are indeed still recording. We are. Okay. Sorry about that. There's some wallowing happening and it's time to stand up. There's a box that you're ready to climb out of. You're ready to move up and out and towards spirit here. You don't need to do this in a traditional way. I think you need to trust yourself and trust that you're going to know how to move through it. You might feel like there's like a specific way you have to do this, but there isn't. You get to do it the way that you want to do it. And that's kind of one of the blessings you're being given here, is to trust that you can figure it out. Yeah, you're the director of your life. You are resourceful. You're self-directed. You get to decide how you move through this shadow work. You get to decide how you communicate with yourself and endure and pull out of where you've been and move in a direction, in a speed that you want. So if someone's telling you there's a one specific way to do it, don't listen to them. You get to move with your will. You might be doubting yourself a lot here, thinking you're not doing it right or there's something going on. You're giving other people too much benefit of the doubt here. And I'm not saying that people around you have negative intentions, but I am saying that people around you are going to see you through their own lens. They're going to see your path through their own lens. You are the expert of your experience. You can find clarity and order within yourself without external input on how it is that you should move through this. until you do, there's going to be this kind of poison, this negativity, this fear, this resentment that exists because you don't trust yourself, or you aren't actively trusting yourself in this moment. So knowing that you can find clarity about what it is that the shadow work is asking you to look at on your own terms, in your own way. You don't need someone to tell you how to do it. You just need to look at where you're grasping or attached to certain outcomes and where you aren't trusting yourself. Trusting yourself is kind of like the big thing here. Use discomfort to grow and expand here. Be passionate, be tenacious. This is a journey that you get to, this is a journey to embodying your most authentic true self. And you can only get there by separating what other people want you to do, what they want you to believe, from what you actually want to do, what you believe and what you feel. No one's going to be able to tell you how to go through this, but you can make it. You know, everything that you need to know is already in here. All you have to do is decide to trust yourself. Listen to yourself. It's okay to get input from other people, but it is not gospel. You get to be more than that. Leave me a comment. Tell me how this landed. Maybe you needed to hear it. Maybe you didn't. And I hope to see you next week.